Send this little Sam, some IEG don't know nothing about. Yeah.
With their wives.
To find the
And
husband
they call
road.
it counseling.
Yeah.
Y'all don't get quiet on me because I'm going to walk right down there and talk to some of y'all.
Yeah.
I want you to write the word husband down. We got to be careful with this. I was looking at this word the other day, and I realized that the power of a man in the family is the key to the family. Matter of fact, the word husband is from two words put together. Write them down. It's the word house born. One who bonds the house together.
Yeah, now listen to this now. Man speaking some real.
If you are the husband, your job is like glue. You're supposed
Tim
to
don't
glue
understand
the
nothing
whole
about
family
that.
together. You are responsible for the family
Husband.
together. You
Housebound.
are the housebound.
Housebound.
That's why they call you a father. The word father is the Hebrew word Abba. It means source and sustainer. Not just a source. You got to sustain with your source.
Preach, brother. See, Tim don't know nothing about that.
That's my baby. Good. Are you paying for the school of that baby?
No, he ain't paying for no
Are you
schooling.
feeding that child? Oh,
They
by the
ain't
way,
feeding
did
no
you know
child.
that women are your baby too?
Yep. Preach,
God
brother.
did not take women from the soil.
IEG need to
He
watch
went
this,
inside the
Tim.
male and pulled out a female. That's what I like about God. In other words, the male came out of the male, but he built the male to make it a female. So a real female is a female because she has a womb to carry the fetus.
See, Meg ain't no real woman.
You are a female if you got a fetus capacity.
Yeah, because she let Tim walk all over her. She put Tim first for her kids.
So you can break your wrists, wear your earrings, have a ponytail, but if you ain't got no womb, you are a brother.
She ain't got no womb. She can't get her hair fixed. She can't wear makeup.
Your job
Yeah, she's male.
is to sustain your baby.
Tell him.
The woman came out of man, not man out of woman. Paul was clear. That means the female in your life is your baby. That's why it's natural for man to call his wife baby.
See, Tim don't say none of that. Don't do none of that for Meg and his family. Yep.
Protect her, counsel her, provide for her, milk feed. You gotta do everything for her. Why? She's your baby.
Yeah, Tim don't do none of them above. He don't do nothing.
No, all you want is sex. That's your problem.
Yeah, the probably don't get sex. He look at porn. Yeah.
Should be bonded together by the house bond. The family is like a business corporation. The father is the president. The wife, vice president.
Kids, the board members.
The board members. Neighbors, clients.
See, Meg is not no vice president. The kids is no board member.
That means you preside. You
they
don't
workers.
Control. You preside.
Tell them, brother.
Over the house. Who's your wife?
Your vice president.
That means you don't act without getting advice from your wife as well. Oh, I'm in trouble now. See?
Tell them, brother.
And your children are on what? The
board.
That means you inform them of what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
If you're going to bond the house together, it has to be a corporate effort.
See, IRG.
Management of the home is
their house ain't managing.
What did I say?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. Say it again. Management of the home is the greatest test of a man's leadership. That's why the Apostle Paul says, look, if you want to come into God's house and sit in this pulpit, he said, first you must manage your own home well.
Yep.
There's some men who want to build a house of God, but they can't build their own house.
Hell yeah. Yep, Tim, you ain't build your own house.
Kids will lose their own kids.
Yep, they about to lose their kids.
Some men spend more time with other women than with their wives. And they call it counseling.
Tim, you got a mistress out there?
Down there and talk to some of y'all.
Yeah, he's picking some real. Yeah.
There are wives who need to make an appointment to see their husband. Is your wife one of them?
Meg, you may have to make
She wants
appointment.
to see you. You haven't talked to her for months. You are the manager of that home. And this is why it's important for you as a man to understand that the family is your most sacred responsibility.
Oh, my leaf filter? I just scheduled an appointment online, and the
I'm gonna try to
inspection
do a
was a
two-part of
breeze.
this
They
shit, yo.
explained everything.
How y'all
Leaf
doing?
filters technology protect.
Today,
Yeah.
I'm answering the question, how does a husband lead the home? John Maxwell, one of my favorite authors of all time, he said that leadership is influence. And as we think about influence,
Let's see if Tim do any of
to women,
these.
one of the things that we typically see is that a guy is physically stronger than a woman. This ain't in every case, but in most cases, a guy is more physically strong than a woman. In the Bible, that's the only area where a
Two
man
videos and one on
may have
my
an
live
advantage over a
screen.
woman. And I know that this may shock some people because of the fact that throughout human history, we've seen women in a subservient position dominated by men, whether it's in the workplace or within society or whatever the case may be. But I don't believe that that was ever God's intention from the beginning. And if we go back to the beginning, male and female were created in the image of God. The idea is that we are
See,
God's
Tim
image, meaning
don't
we
know
all
about that.
have what we would call equal value in God's eyes.
Yeah, Tim
So
don't know
men
about
and
that.
women, aside from their physical differences, literally
He
are
have his wife and
spiritually
kids
on
doing
the
majority of
same
the
level,
work.
which means they have equal value. So when a husband and a wife get married, in God's eyes, they are co-equals. Okay? And so when we start hearing things like the man is the head of the home, and you hear wives saying, I got to follow my husband, and what does
Listening
that
this
actually
Meg.
mean? So if the man is the head of the wife, right, what does that really mean? It doesn't mean that he is superior to her in any way. It doesn't mean that she should become inferior to him in any way. What that means is that if a mother was coming against my marriage, I jump in front of that bad boy and I will defend and I will protect my family. It means that as a man, I take the initiative to protect my family. I protect what God has entrusted into
Well,
my care. That good thing that
Tim
God has
ain't
given me.
protecting his
I'm willing to
wife or his
take
kids.
initiative to
He
influence
working his
the outcome
wife
of
and
my
kids like
home.
slaves.
If a man has to use his title as husband or head of the home in order to gain an advantage, then that man is literally showing that he is a weak individual. And I know
Rather
that may be a
Tim,
little bit strong, but
Tim
I'm talking
says
to men and I'm talking about the order of
you
the
weak,
home.
bro.
If I have to use my title for me to have my way or to get what I
Yep,
want
that's
within
what
a
Tim doing.
relationship, then I missed the whole point of marriage. I
Yeah,
didn't get into
yeah.
a marriage to dominate my children, to dominate my wife. I got into
Well,
marriage because I wanted a
that's what
partner for life
that's
that
what
we
Tim
could
did
influence the
then.
rest of the world with through our children.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's been the vision of a husband and a wife from the beginning. It's to rule and subdue the earth. And I want to know, your title as a man doesn't make you the tyrant of the home. It means that you are the first servant. You are the first, the head of the home. You're the one to lead by example as what the Bible would call the priest of your home. You're the lead prayer. You're the lead protector. You're the lead provider. And please hear me, that doesn't mean that you have to make the most money. It has nothing to do with how much money comes in that makes you the most important person in the home. It means that you recognize the importance and the significance of
Well,
every
Tim don't
member
look
of
at it
your
that way.
household. If you have a wife, then that means you have a partner for life, or until death do you part. To be the head of the home
Y'all
means
listen
that
to that
you
show?
are prying into her mind to see
See what he tells.
what
See,
has God given her
Tim ain't
that
none
she
of
needs to
them.
contribute to society, and then you become the chief servant of that woman, and you help her to bring that dream to pass. You become her number one partner. You become her number one encourager. So you're the first in the home to encourage. You're the first in the home
Well,
to help
Tim
point your children in the right
Tim
direction,
bring his wife
leading
down.
them by your example
Yeah,
of
yeah,
godliness, leading them in your example of faithful
yeah.
financial
Talk
stewardship.
to her like she
You are
dumb.
to lead. That
She
means you're not
lame.
lazy. You're not waiting to have the right conversations about the plans to discipline your children. But you and your wife, you get together and you're asking the questions that say, okay, what's your opinion on how we can best lead our daughters or how we can best lead our son? You're sitting down. You take initiative, lead. you're first among equals. And you say, hey, honey, you don't wait till the house is burning down to all of a sudden say, hey, we need a plan to put this fire out. No, you take initiative and you say, hey, baby, can we talk this Sunday? Because there are some things I'm dreaming about that may be clashing up against what I think you see, but how can we best work together to build what God has put us on this earth to do? That's what a man does. He takes initiative, right? He's not
Tim ain't no man.
allowing things to fall
He's
apart.
a Sam, sorry
Right?
ass
And
man.
he sees it and he knows something
Yeah,
is wrong.
yeah.
You're not keeping it on the inside until you implode or until one day you lose it and you explode on everybody. You're also the first to forgive. You're the first to apologize. And if you say, man, it just doesn't feel fair, think about Jesus on the cross, right? Father, forgive them. He's our example according to Ephesians 5. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. The idea is that we are the first givers.
See, this right here goes out to Tim. Tim sells some RAG. He don't know how to treat his wife. This man talks some real. Yeah. Talking about how he treat his wife and his kids.
Rep from Good Mythical Morning here to put Burger King to the test with their new Whopper guarantee. If they don't make it just how you ordered it, they'll make another one on the spot and you're...
Fund your next era with Vintage.
He's doing the opposite.
With new categories
but
beyond fashion, you can now sell
two videos
from every era.
On my live. This is my live 2 video shows and one.
You're supposed to be the most generous. And so when you start thinking about being a strong man, it means that you're willing to take the nails, the crown of thorns, you're willing to go to that whipping post. Why? Because your bride is at stake. And whatever it takes to unify the family, that's what that man is willing to do.
Well, Tim don't do none of that.
You need to go to therapy or counseling. If that means that you all need to see your spiritual guides or mentors, then you take that initiative and you say, you know what? Whatever it takes to
treat his family.
That's what I'm willing to
treat
do.
His family.
You're willing to provide. You're willing to protect.
Put his family on the pedestal. Not out there like slaves and shit.
On in the house, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not seeing your family as subservient. You're seeing them as your greatest honor, and you're trying to raise everyone up in your home as their chief support. You're the number one leader of helping to live a legacy. That's what you're trying to do. And so when we talk about leadership, we're talking about how you empower your wife and your children to actually leave a legacy that's worth leaving, right? So when you're gone,
Tim, your family
you led so well.
It's not leaving no legacy.
Children and their children, right? That's a great
because son, your kids get up the age and sit up. They ain't coming back to your farm.
Your power to help lift them up to where you're.
Only one probably say there's Titus and he probably be in jail.
That's really what the definition of a great leader is. So you're first in compliments, you're first in encouragement, and you're also first in comfort for the family.
Tim Sales is not like that.
Like this, and this is my last thought right here for this. God, who is the ruler of all things, he's the creator of all things. You know,
Amen.
You say something like God is in control. The truth is, he is over the overarching theme of the history of man and the history of the world and the universe. But he leaves a lot of stuff up for us to choose. You chose Colgate. You hear me? You chose right guard. You chose your own deodorant preference, whatever scent you wanted. You chose your cologne. You chose to eat Chick-fil-A or you chose to eat a fruit salad, right?
I'm going to email this shit to Tim.
You have a certain amount of power and authority that God has given you. God doesn't dominate your every decision. He gives you free will. And so as husbands, we have to recognize that even as God gives us free will, everybody in your home has free will. But he partners with us.
Well, Tim, kids don't have free will.
And so God allows your creativity to be contributed to the conversation. He allows your strengths to be contributed to what he wants to be in this earth. And you partner with God, and your giftedness shines because God lifts you up. And as examples and leaders of our home, that's exactly what a husband is supposed to be for his wife and for his children. We're supposed to come alongside them, not dominate them, not control them, not abuse them, right? Not push them down, not silence them, but we're to come next to them, partner with them to accomplish our will and theirs combined together to produce something amazing.
Well, IAG Tim, you need to listen to this. Because what that man was talking is should be going to Tim, IAG. But I'm out, y'all.